my dad wanted me to know that it wasn't my time and I had to go back and live my life fearlessly. So when I came back, my body healed, and I realized that I had never been me, and I realized that this world we live in causes us to forget who we really are. But also, this world doesn't teach us that our deceased loved ones are still there around us, living with us, among us, but in a different form where we can't see them physically with our eyes. Kids can see, they can see creatures, what we call their imaginary friends. They can see their imaginary friends, but we tend to laugh at kids and say that, oh, it's just your imagination, and we tend to suppress this ability in kids. So anyway, I wanted to do a children's book. I didn't know how to. I'm not a writer of children's book. I just kind of put it out there that we need to teach this to our kids. And Keith showed up in my life, a children's book writer. And he had this idea, not with me telling him, he had this idea. He came to me and said, I've read your book, Dying to Be Me, and I would like to share with you an idea I have for a children's book.
Well, it came to me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. That was like one of those things, yeah, exactly. After reading your book, I just woke up and it was like, I had to write this down, and so I did.
Yes.
And then we had lunch, and should I tell about the first version of the book? Or? Well, anyway, it's been quite an adventure because there was a first version of this book, and then we went with another illustrator after this, and it was almost like the universe said, you know, this is the illustrator that you should go with, and it was Rowie, who is not here. He had heart surgery 3 weeks ago, so you know our prayers are with him, and he's doing much better. But he would be here if he could.
Yeah. So it turned out perfectly, as things always do. Things that are meant to be always turn out perfectly. The fact that you came into my life at the right time when I really wanted a children's book, the right illustrator. The illustrator is incredible. And basically, for those who don't know, Scaredy Caterpillar is the story of a caterpillar who lives in fear, which is how I used to be before I had the near-death experience. And she's been fearful since her dad disappeared. And I don't want to give away the spoiler. I shouldn't have a spoiler, right?
It's a cliffhanger. But yeah, I read with the old metaphor, caterpillars, butterflies, as far as dealing with death. You know, it's an age-old. I don't even know who came up with it, but you know, it's been around forever. But I thought that would work best.
Yeah, and I myself, even though I had a hand in it, and you know, I mean, I am so proud of this piece of work, and I could not have done it without you. Thank you. You're really good. So thank you for all the legwork and everything you've done to get this book out there. Thank you. We can read a little bit out of it, but I wanted to take questions as well. Who's got questions? Anybody? Oh, here.
Are there more children's books in the office?
I am certain there are. I mean, you have both of them. Yay! So yes, I have another children's book called Love, and I'm hoping to put one out that's for sensitive children, empathic children that are overly sensitive in the world and that believe that there might be, that there's something wrong with them. Because what I would want kids like that to know is that there's nothing wrong with you. In fact, the world is not sensitive enough, and in fact, you're ahead of your time, and we need more kids like that, and more people like that. So I want to get a book like that out in the world at some point. And also, I'm sure there will be more books with you as well.
Yeah, you do a sequel.
We have a question over here.
I wanted to know, how did you choose your illustrator? Because I thought with children's books, the publisher picks the illustrator. Usually the author doesn't. How did you get by that?
We
Well,
self-publish.
Yeah, it's self-published, so we have more creative control.
Yeah, we had full creative.
And we did go with one illustrator, but then that didn't work out. And Rowie has been a friend of mine for like 12, 15 years. I can't even remember.
Yeah, and Rowie was great.
Yeah, I didn't know why I didn't pick him first.
Yeah.
It saved a lot of time.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. A question here? Yes, you love it. Yes.
So in your book, you talk in your first book, you talk about moving away from fear and being more listening to your intuition. Do you have any advice as to the best way to follow your intuition, listen to your intuition, what you want to do?
I'm going to be into it. So in case people didn't hear, the question was, in my first book, Dying to Be Me, I talk about moving away from fear and following your intuition. So what's the best way to follow your intuition? That's actually a super easy answer. Whatever brings you joy, whatever feels fun and light is what you have to do. It's as simple as that. I say it's simple, but it's not always easy because we are all so bogged down by obligations and what we have to do and what we should do. That is what caused me cancer. Like spending my entire life doing what other people expected me to do and not what my heart wanted to do. Today what I do is before I say yes to everything, the demands of the world, and it's harder when you are an author, you write books and you're out in public, it's even harder because we're not conditioned to listen to so many people. And so what I do is I make sure I schedule in all the things that I love doing. I schedule them in, all the things that bring me joy, things that I'm passionate about. I put them in my schedule as a priority before saying yes to anything that I should be doing. So it used to be the other way around. I used to just do all the things that I should be doing, and when I had time, I'll do something fun. Now it's a complete reverse. Question there?
Hi, I'm from Japan. I was wondering if your book is translated in Japanese too.
The children's book?
Any other book, any book?
Oh, all my other adult books are, like Dying to Be Me, Sensitive is the New Strong, What If This Is Heaven. They're in about 45 languages. But the children's book, not yet, because what we are looking for is for a publisher to pick it up. All the other 3 books are with publishers like Simon & Schuster and House. So if there's a publisher who picks it up and who's willing to do the translations, we would be super happy. We have a question back there.
Hi, I've read all of your books, Dying to Be Me, Sensitive as the New Strong. I want to say I'm so grateful for your work because it's truly been such a hard time.
I'm sorry, I hear you.
So,
Just the last part, but thank you for the first part.
your work has been such a salve for me
Oh,
in hard times. So here's my question, which I hope nobody finds offensive. But when someone has taken the spiritual path in life and are in a journey of recovery and seem to be doing all the right things, why are some people not able to reverse their sickness?
okay, so the question is, when someone has taken a spiritual path in life and seem to be doing all the right things, why has their illness not reversed? Is that really the question?
Yes, why were you able to reverse your cancer, make it go away, whereas some people, they seem to be like, okay, they've ticked all the boxes and they're doing the work and...
So you said some key things there. You said some people seem to have ticked all the boxes and yet it's not reversing. There's a lot to unpack in this question, so let me do the best I can. I'm going to start by saying ticking the boxes is not the right thing to do. Just living your life fully is much more. Whether you tick boxes, whether you're spiritual, you're not spiritual, that's what it is. So I'm going to tell you a little secret. I was more spiritual before I died than after. And what do I mean by this? I mean I was doing all the right things. I was doing all the praying, the meditating, the charity work, and I must do this, I have to be more spiritual, I have to suppress my ego, and all of the things, ticking all the boxes, because I wanted to make sure I made it to nirvana, and I still got cancer. And then with the cancer, it's like, oh my God, I have to do even more of the right things. I must have bad karma. I've got to do more things to reverse my karma. I haven't done enough, obviously. Did even more and wore myself down completely. You know why? Because we already are spiritual beings. We don't have to try to be spiritual. And by having to try so hard, what you are telling yourself is, I'm not good enough. I'm not spiritual enough. I have to work at being spiritual. Really what it is your soul just wants to express itself. It wants to live fully, laugh, cry, dance, whatever, sing. That's what it wants. So even when we're being spiritual, the question is not, are we ticking the boxes or are we being spiritual? The question is, are you happy? Are you joyful? Are you following your soul's purpose, your calling? It's all of those things. So that's one. The second thing I want to say is that for some people, illness happens when they're really tired of life and when they're ready to leave. And at some level, their soul is just tired, and so their body manifests an illness to get them a way out. I know that's happened with a lot of people I know. And for yet other people, I mean, we all have to go sometime. So we all reach the end of our life at some time. And when we do cross over, it's not, you haven't lost the battle. For all I know, the people who got to cross over, it's so beautiful on the other side. Maybe the people who got to cross over are actually the lucky ones. Those of us that were sent back are actually the ones who lost. So thank you for Any questions for Keith? He's a beautiful, he's a beautiful author. Okay, questions for Keith?
Is your children's book appropriate for adult children?
Yes. Very appropriate.
It's for any age child. Yeah.
The child within, yes.
And the child within, from ages, I'd say about age 6, to about 106.
Kids are a lot smarter than we give them credit for.
They're
That's
smarter
part
than
of
adults.
it. Yeah. On the spiritual level.
Yeah.
But,
Go ahead.
I just had a question about your other book, because you said you've been writing for a long time. Probably a ton.
a long time, gee. Yeah, there's On Dandelion Seed before this one.
That was beautiful. I loved it. On Dandelion Seed, I recommend it. Is that
All right, write that down. Yes. I worked out with Dee Wallace. I don't know if you remember her from what was it? E.T. She was the mother in E.T. Yes. Let's see, what else? There's a coloring book called Altogether Oddly in Between, which is an adult coloring book, but it's about a lizard that's looking for his true colors. And he asks all the other animals, and they tell him their color. But, and in the end, he just meditates, and then that's how he discovers his true color. But, yeah, I've written quite a few books. Just look up, just Google me. Malinsky, M-A-L-I-N-S-K-Y. Everybody spells it wrong. But
you showed me on Dandelion Seed, and that's what told me
Yes.
I want to do this.
that
book
was
with
the
you.
cover that actually won her
It's like,
over.
oh, I love this book.
So,
Yeah, we'll take one more. I saw a hand up back there, and I think we're gonna have to close it off after that.
You talk about living your life fearlessly. Do you have times when fear creeps back in? And if so, what do you do and how do you handle it?
So the question was, I talk about living my life fearlessly. Are there times when the fear comes back in? Yes, absolutely there are times when the fear comes back in. Because this world we live in is a very fear-based world. And so what I learned on the other side is that our mission, all of us, our mission, the objective, is to find joy in this fear-based world and to live from a place of joy. Because most people tend to default in living in fear, and then they spread that fear. And so that fear that people spread does get to me as well, because it's very persistent. This culture we live in, this paradigm, is very persistent. So yes, it happens to me. But every time I feel that fear, it's a reminder that I have to actively pursue more joy. That's the thing. Do what makes you happy. Do something that uplifts you. Even if you're dealing with an illness or anything, the way to get through an illness is to focus on the wellness. Don't focus on the illness. Focus on what you would do if you had a clean bill of health and do it. Okay? Thank you for that question.